Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I've got a special one for you today. For a long time, we've mentioned that Zani seems to be inspired by Achilles. This does not mean it's a one-to-one inspiration, nor does it mean that Zani does not take inspiration from the Commedia dell'arte. She could, and is most likely, a mixture of both. The leader of the Black Alley, Talos, has a connection to Achilles in ancient literature. And the allegory and concept of Talos is so important that even today, Talos is real. So this video is going to be a prologue type of video to watch before going into Zani's companion quest. And just a disclaimer, the only knowledge I have of the companion story is what has been shared in the special program. So if you want to avoid any potential spoilers, you can always watch this video after her companion story to understand the bigger picture.
Time to work again. Raguna once went through a hell of a time. The Order was hit with major losses, including many of their best. The Black Alley was born when that stability fell apart. Efficiency is everything at work. It's all about hitting the nail on the head. Let's get this over with. All you got? I can spare a minute to knock some heads around. Give me your worst. Reduce to dust! Huh? That's a wrap.
Alright, so there are quite a lot of details on Zani that refer to Achilles. So I'm just going to go through a few of these because I don't want to sit here forever talking about them. But these are what I think the main ones would be. So the first one is Zani's devilish appearance. Now first we need to confirm that this is indeed a devilish appearance, and this is how Kuro want to portray it. And the answer to that comes from Zani's energy drink. Alright, so right here we have this little animation when Zani wakes up, probably a gacha animation because Kuro have really improved on that, and she spins her energy drink can. Now when she's spinning it, if you look at it frame by frame, you can actually see the full name over here of the energy drink, and this is Deviltap in the rinascitan transcript, which is Devil Tap. So yes, they are calling Zani's appearance devilish. Now when we look at Achilles, and this website greekmythology.com gives you a summary of the characters in Greco-Roman mythology, it doesn't give you the exact sources or the words used in the source material. There is another website that can do that for you, but instead I just want to look at the summary or synopsis. So the devilish look of Zani is attributed to the method that was used to make Achilles invulnerable. Tethys bathed Achilles as an infant in the waters of the river Styx, thus making him all but immortal. Only the hill by which she held him remained vulnerable. Now the question is, what is the river Styx? And if we have a look here, the river Styx was the boundary between the realm of earth and the underworld. So the underworld being the realm of the devil, which would explain why Zani has this devilish look and Achilles' connection to the devil. Right, then there are some other things like Zani's blonde hair, which is, if you've seen the movie Troy, then you'll know Achilles has blonde hair. And then there's the battle-worn look with all these scars and the ripped clothing to show that Zani has been through a lot of battles and has come out victorious, or as this glorious warrior. Now I will note that Achilles was invulnerable, which means that he wouldn't even be able to bleed. So this is a bit of a contrast rather than a similarity between the two. And the final major reference to Achilles is the shield that Zani carries. So when we look at the shield of Achilles, we read that the goddess Tethys, so Achilles' mother, asked Hephaestus to forge a new armor to provide her son, and the armor would be the shield. Now Zani's shield itself has a donkey symbol on it, and when we look at Hephaestus, we see that his sacred animal is the donkey. So this proves that Zani's shield is referring to Hephaestus. Now maybe there isn't an Hephaestus in game, but it's more so symbolic or showing that it is inspired by Hephaestus. So when you look at Hephaestus, you can come here and read all of his stories, but the main one is that he created the shield of Achilles and Hephaestus's automata. So Hephaestus sculpted the golden dogs to guard the palace of Alcinous, and Talos, a giant bronze man to protect Crete. So apart from creating the shield of Achilles, Hephaestus is also pretty significant for Wuthering Waves because of Talos. And Hephaestus was really important because of the title the Celestial Artificer. So basically this means that Hephaestus was capable of creating robots, as we would call it today. And if you're looking for a modern title for the Celestial Artificer, it's most likely something along the lines of being an engineer. So when we look at Talos, it's the idea of Talos that's really important. So you can read Talos was a giant bronze man that guarded the island of Crete, created by Hephaestus, and his only weakness was his ankle, where the single vein containing all of his life fluid, which was ichor, the blood of the gods, and the color of ichor is gold, was sealed within a thin membrane of skin or bronze nail, and this is by his ankle. So again, Achilles has his Achilles ankle as his weak spot, and Talos also has his Achilles ankle as his weak spot. And here even this website mentions that the vein and all of Talos' life fluid, so his blood, ran through the ankle, making him vulnerable the same way Achilles was. So again, the similarity of Talos and Zani, and the similarity of Talos and Achilles. Now the story of Talos is mostly around Jason and the Argonauts. So Jason was this unconventional hero that was part of the Argonautic expedition, and the Argonauts included people like Hercules, so the other big well-known demigod, so half mortal, half god person from Greek mythology, or hero from Greek mythology. And they were in search of the Golden Fleece. Now the Golden Fleece is an actual material that's in Wuthering Waves. You can go and pick it up, and I think it's even used as Phoebe's level up material or character ascension material. So this grand picture of Jason and the Argonauts, Talos, Hephaestus, Achilles, the Styx, they're all connected, and Kuro definitely are aware of this and use this as inspiration for building the world of Rinascita. Now to provide extra connection between Jason and the Argonauts and Achilles, which are two different time frames, both of these characters were mentored by Centaur Chiron. And here you can see Achilles' mentors. In the absence of his mother, Achilles spent most of his childhood on Mount Pelion, where he was reared and trained by the wise Centaur Chiron. Chiron was one of the most important centaurs, who is a half-human, half-horse character. And horses are pretty significant in Rinascita because of the Sentinel Imperator. And so just a little bit on Centaur Chiron. He is considered wise in the sense of war and politics, and there is another character that is considered wise in war and politics, which is Athena or Minerva. And Minerva again relating to the Capitoline Triad, which is mentioned by Lexia. So I think we will be getting a character that's like Athena or Chiron combined, that is this wise and political character in the sense of war, and that would kind of make sense for Septimont. So going back to Talos, and again this also explains a bit about the Wuthering Waves Talos. Talos is the idea or this fascination of human nature to recreate life or a human. And this is already explored in ancient Greek poetry, which is around 2300 to 3000 years ago. So just a bit of an example, we can look at Adam Warlock from the Marvel Universe. So here we have a gold character, so not entirely bronze, but Adam Warlock is essentially created to be the perfect human. So again, the principle of Talos. Now Stan Lee didn't just create Talos as Adam Warlock, he actually combined Hephaestus and Talos together. So Talos was created to be the perfect human, but he was also created as a messenger for the gods. So instead of being a protector of a specific place like Crete, Adam Warlock is a messenger for the gods or for his creators. And the messenger of the gods is known as Hermes. And that's why we have a Caduceus remade for Adam Warlock. And just to build on the proof that Adam Warlock was created, or Talos was created to be the perfect human, is the idea of him. The original name for Adam Warlock was literally called him. So Adam Warlock was him. And yes, that is how pop culture again has their reference to calling people him. And if you want a game that explains the modern concept of Talos, there is the Talos Principle, and you'll see it even mentions Gehenna in one of its DLC. A DLC for the Talos Principle is Road to Gehenna, and that is the same Gehenna that inspires the Dragon of the Dirge. So what does this mean for Zani's companion story? Well, if we look at the youth of Achilles, we can see similarities that may come to life in Wuthering waves. So the thing about Achilles is that when he was born, he was prophesied to be destined to either die in battle a glorious death or live a long life in obscurity. And Thetis, who is his mother, searched for ways throughout his youth to prevent this from happening. So that's why she found a way to make him invulnerable, and she went through great lengths to avoid this fate for Achilles. One of the things that Achilles' mother did was send him to the court of Lycomedes, which is kind of like the Black Alley. So realizing that the Trojan War was fast approaching and fully aware that Achilles was still destined to die in battle, his mother resorted to an unusual tactic to keep him safe by disguising him as a girl and hiding him at the court of King Lycomedes in Skyros. And this worked well for a while, but then Odysseus learned that without Achilles they would lose the war. So in Skyros, Odysseus included a spear among the goods that he was selling, and only one girl by the name of Pyrrha showed some interest in it. And then an incident happened where everyone but this one girl named Pyrrha fled the scene. So the same way that the devs mentioned that there was an incident in the Black Alley, and that is now what is being explored in Zani's companion story. And then it was obvious to Odysseus that Pyrrha had to be none other than Achilles. So Achilles kind of revealed his cover by being so interested in the weapon when all the other girls just ran away. So Kura have most likely rewritten the story of Achilles' youth for Zani's companion story that will explore her past. And because Zani fights this Talos, which is showcased in the 2.3 trailer, and while we can prove that this Talos is a reference to the Greek Talos mentioned here that we've covered, because of this tattoo right here of Capitonius. And just earlier in the trailer, you can see that Zani is fighting Capitonius in the same area that she fights that female Talos. And when it comes to the Black Alley, we are most likely going to see symbolism of Jason and the Argonauts. So the role of Talos seems like it will be that of Jason from Jason and the Argonauts is just a group of Greek heroes. But Jason explains the role of Talos. The depiction of Talos is most likely going to be that of the actual Talos from Hephaestus. And this is all related because Talos has the same weakness as Achilles, and both of them are linked to Hephaestus, who is the celestial artificer or the engineer of their characteristics. And lastly, just to explain Talos and Automata for what I believed would be chapter 3, Talos was this giant bronze man who guarded the island of Crete, and inside Talos was a golden fluid called ichor, which would be the blood of the gods. So the earliest depiction of a robot or an automation. And when we look at electricity, which is the electron, the root word of electron is the Greek word electron or electra, which means amber. And the color of amber is the same color of gold. And for the robots and artificial intelligence in today's world, we are using electricity. So for Talos, who was a giant bronze man who functioned on gold blood or amber, has similarities to what we call electricity or the electron, which is amber, being the source that allows robots or artificial intelligence to function. That is all for this video. Let me know your thoughts down below, and I will see you in the next video.